Okay, so 80 million euros, like that's just a crazy number, right? When you think about it as a potential bonus for Real Madrid if they win everything this season, like it's got to make you wonder just how much money is flying around at the top level of football. So that's what we're going to be looking into today. All the financial stuff motivating Real Madrid to win trophies, and then of course we got to talk about all the rumors surrounding Ancelotti and his future there. So our goal today is to really understand the money side of things.
Yeah.
How much is at stake for Real Madrid, and then all the uncertainties around who's going to be managing the team.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that jumps out at me is how much these bonuses have gone up, right? 80 million euros is double what they paid out last year, which was 40 million. So, that really shows you how much more money there is to win this year if they can win it all.
Yeah. And when we say win it all, we mean all 6 trophies, right? The Liga, the Champions League, Copa del Rey, Spanish Super Cup, European Super Cup, and the Club World Cup. Talk about pressure, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, it's important to remember that those bonuses, what they call primas, are all before taxes. They say brutto. So the players aren't actually taking home the full 80 million or whatever. But, it's still a huge amount of money, because empowering. Yeah.
It's got to be motivating.
Yeah, and the Club World Cup especially seems to be way more important now financially. I mean, and one of the sources we looked at said it's basically as important as the Champions League for bonus calculations now, which is a pretty big change, right? What do you think is driving that? Is it just the global appeal of the tournament, or is there more to it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it has a lot to do with, how much bigger the Club World Cup has become globally and all the sponsorship money and stuff that comes with that. I mean, Florentino Perez has always talked about how important the tournament is. And I think you can see that now in how much it's worth financially. It also just makes the whole season even more competitive.
Yeah.
Which probably factors into how much the players can earn in bonuses.
Right.
And speaking of players, we actually got some insight into what this means for them individually. Apparently last season, just for winning La Liga, the Champions League, and the Super Cup, each player got over €1 million before taxes. I mean, that's life-changing money for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
How do you think those individual bonuses affect the team as a whole?
Yeah.
I mean, does it make them more likely to work together, or could it, create some tension?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely adds to the sense of everyone being in it together, because they all benefit financially when the team wins. And it's not like everyone gets the exact same amount either, right? There are extra bonuses for individual awards. If Modric wins the Ballon d'Or, again, he could get an extra kilo on top of everything else, which I'm sure your listeners know means 1,000 euros in this context. But yeah, so it's not just about the team winning, it's about individual achievements too.
For sure. So, with all this money on the line, it kind of makes you wonder if there's any risk for the club, right?
Yeah.
Could they actually end up losing money if they win too much?
That's a great question. And it's one that our source actually addressed directly. They said that the prize money for winning these tournaments is so big that it more than covers the cost of the bonuses. They estimated that Real Madrid could make something like 260 million euros just from the Champions League and Club World Cup alone. So yeah, they're spending a lot on bonuses, but they're making even more from winning.
Makes sense. It's like a cycle of success leading to more money, which then allows them to, invest even more in the team, and so on and so on. I mean, it's interesting to think about how these bonuses might even factor into a player's decision to stay or leave the club. We heard that Mariano almost left, but one of the reasons he stayed was because of those potential bonuses.
Yeah, it really shows you how important those financial incentives are. It's not just about the base salary anymore. It's about the whole package, the potential to win trophies and earn those big bonuses that can really make a difference for a player.
Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about Ancelotti. I mean, the guy's a legend, but there are always rumors swirling about whether or not he's going to stay at Real Madrid. And according to what we heard from the Real Madrid Info New Manager podcast, it doesn't sound like he's planning on quitting anytime soon. So it seems like any decision to replace him would have to come from Florentino Perez himself.
Yeah, and that's an important point to make, because the media loves to speculate about these things, and they don't always have the full story. It's like a cycle. Every time a team loses or has a bad run of form, the manager is suddenly on the hot seat. Our source even mentioned that Ancelotti was getting criticized earlier this season after just 2 draws in the league.
It's crazy, right? The media is always looking for the next big story, but it does seem like there's a disconnect between what the media is saying and what's actually happening inside the club. I mean, it sounds like Ancelotti still has a lot of support from the fans, and most importantly from Florentino Perez.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that our source brought up that anecdote about a journalist saying Ancelotti had thrown away the league and other titles, really tells you how much pressure there is on the manager and how quickly things can change in the eyes of the media.
And of course, whenever there are rumors about a manager leaving, people start throwing around names of potential replacements. Klopp's name came up, which makes sense. But our source said they're going to do a whole separate deep dive on potential future managers later on. But for now, the main thing is that no decision has been made about Ancelotti's future. It all seems to depend on how the team performs, especially in the Champions League.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Champions League is huge, both financially and for the prestige of the club. So any sign of weakness there and the pressure on the manager is going to be immense. I mean, we saw this a couple of seasons ago when Ancelotti's job seemed pretty safe until they got hammered by Manchester City and suddenly everyone was questioning his future. So yeah, it's a high stakes game.
And then there's the whole Club World Cup thing to consider, right? Like, it wouldn't really be a good time to bring in a new manager right before or during a tournament like that. I mean, a new manager would need time to adjust and get the team playing their way, which could be tricky in the middle of the season.
Definitely. I mean, bringing in a new manager right before a big tournament would be a massive gamble. You know, it takes time for a new coach to implement their ideas and for the players to adapt. And doing that right before a competition like the Club World Cup could really disrupt the team's momentum.
It's also interesting to look back at how Real Madrid has handled managerial changes in the past. They often seem to make those decisions at the end of the season in June or July, even if the season seems successful from the outside, like when they announced Lopetegui as the new manager right before the World Cup or when Ancelotti himself came back to the club. So it seems like they prefer to do these things in the off-season rather than making a rash decision in the middle of the year.
Yeah, that does seem to be their pattern, and it suggests that they're going to take their time with this decision, wait until the end of the season, assess how everything went, and then make a call about Ancelotti's future.
Our source also mentioned a rumor about a meeting between someone from Real Madrid and someone from Club Brugge, which is interesting, but they couldn't confirm if it actually happened or if it meant anything significant.
Yeah.
It's these kinds of little whispers that really get the rumor mill going.
Yeah, those unconfirmed reports are everywhere in football, especially when you're talking about a club like Real Madrid and a manager like Ancelotti. I mean, it's hard to know what to believe, but it definitely adds to the intrigue.
And it sounds like Zidane coming back for a third time is pretty unlikely, at least according to our source. So while some fans might love to see him back in the dugout, it doesn't seem like that's in the cards right now.
Yeah, if Zidane's not coming back, that definitely narrows down the list of potential replacements if Real Madrid does decide to make a change.
So to sum it all up, our deep dive into Real Madrid's finances and the situation with Ancelotti shows just how complex things are at the top level of football. The players are motivated by the chance to win huge bonuses, potentially up to 80 million euros if they win everything. And then on the other hand, you've got Ancelotti's future hanging in the balance with a lot of pressure on him to succeed, especially in the Champions League. And it seems like his fate is ultimately in the hands of Florentino Perez, who will probably make a decision at the end of the season.
What I find really fascinating about all this is how the financial side of things and the pressure on the manager might actually be affecting the team's performance. Does the potential to earn those huge bonuses make them play better? Or does it just create more stress and anxiety? And what about the constant speculation surrounding Ancelotti? Does that help him or does it distract him from his job? These are questions that I think a lot of fans are asking, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. It's a reminder that even at the highest level of football, where, the money's flowing and the trophies are glittering, it's still a human game with all the drama and uncertainty that comes with that.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's all about the players and the manager and how they handle the pressure and the expectations, and that's what makes it so compelling to watch.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Real Madrid. It's been a fascinating conversation, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting this topic again soon as the season unfolds.
My pleasure. Always happy to chat about Real Madrid.
All right, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for listening.